I know, chasing that dough, hitting that road, getting that money, man. All I know, loading that foe, kicking down doors, getting that money, man. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it Grizzly. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it Grizzly.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is, do you agree or disagree with Kenny Porter's stoppage? I can tell you one person who flat out disagrees, and that person's name is Earl Spence Jr. Let's take a look at what Earl Spence had to say. Earl Spence wrote on Twitter, "If I was Sean, I wouldn't pay my daddy. LOL." That's what Earl Spence had to say. All right, so let's take a look at Kenny Porter's explanation as to why he stopped the fight at the post-fight press conference.
After made it worse.
All right, here we go.
You know, rode camels in the Sahara Desert with my son. I got to continue to do those things. This is just a small part of his life. And people would ask me some time ago, he had over 270 some amateur fights. They say, why you fight him so much? Why? He was winning. Steve, if he got hurt in fight number 3 as an amateur, we wouldn't have continued with this. He was winning, right? He may have been right in this fight, right there with the guy. It was a surprise for me that he went down, and I've never seen him go like that. And then what happened after that, he got hurt again, and I saw him at a deficit. He didn't have everything it took to protect himself. And coming in here, I wasn't seeing that same thing going on, protecting himself. So the most important thing is that I'm able to walk away from here and he's safe. That's it.
All right, let's give a round of applause.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kenny.
Let's give a round of applause to a great fighter.
Yeah, so basically that was Kenny Porter's explanation as to why he stopped the fight. Conspiracy, what's your reaction to what Kenny Porter had to say?
All right, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. Prior to seeing this post-conference press conference, I was gonna come in here talking violations. I was like, yo, man, you wasn't watching footage. You talking about we don't need to watch footage of TC. Like, Kenny was talking all kind of records. Then the fight started. It looked like they were doing a prom dance. I was like, man, this is weird. You know what I'm saying?
You have before every fight, G. Come on, man.
Man, it's different. And on this fight, I'm looking for hate. You know what I mean? I showed up with a Under Armour shirt. You know what I'm saying? Tucked in. I was like, fam, you ain't even chiseled, B. Like, respect your body. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna front. I was tight. But then after watching this post-fight press conference, man, I have to be honest. He did the right thing, man. Because when you look at it, Sean wasn't even really frustrated either with his father. Like, if you really believe, yo, I could keep going, you would be like, nah, Dad, that was messed up. Like, you'd be bothered. He wasn't like that. He just accepted it. And I was just like, oh, man. And then after the fact that you're talking about retirement and everything, this just seemed like it was a formula of, yo, we knew we were going to get out of there. So this was probably better for his career to throw in the towel and to get knocked out by TC. So I can't get mad at Kenny no more, man. And I kind of went at Kenny a little bit on Twitter also. But, it is what it is. But on a side note, yo, Spence had me rolling, son. When they showed Spence at the fight watching the knockout or the when the fight ended, he was just like, and just got up with his peoples and dipped out. I thought that was hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, because everybody was shocked. Like, hold on, why y'all throwing the towel? Like, it could keep going. You know what I mean? But again, man, Kenny's a father, man. I understand. So, I got kids myself. So it's a little different. And then Kenny said something after the fight last night. He's like, man, I'm gonna have breakfast with my son. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of implies like, yo, this is more to us than just fighting. You know what I mean? So it's not like a typical trainer-fighter relationship. This is family, and so he has to look at his grandkids, you know what I mean? And so I'm pretty much what I'm saying is, man, I was mad initially, but now it makes sense, especially since they're talking all this retirement talk. So I could give Kenny that pass.
All right, $2 bill.
Same. I'm with you, G. It's just other things that, like, I mentioned the fact of going into this fight that I thought that Sean Porter had a lot of wear and tear on him because of a lot of wars that he's been in already. I also believe that in that stoppage, somebody texted in the group, Kenny panicked.
That was me.
And I believe that was you, G. And I totally agree. but everything, because everything, like you said, Sean's been in wars. He didn't want to see his son getting hit like that. I totally agree. I was furious because I felt that Sean deserved, him personally. I felt like he was disgusted with his father. Even when he turned around at the end of that fight, he said, "Why you stop it? Why?" He was mad. Even when the ref asked, "Can you continue?" He was mad when he went down the second time. He started punching the canvas. Like he can't believe it. You know? When the ref asked him, "Do you want to continue?" It wasn't like he had to wait for an answer or wait for a second. Sean yelled it from the top of his lungs. Yes! Let's go! Like when he got dropped by Earl Spence. He said, "Let's go!" The warrior spirit in Sean. I thought that Sean deserved to go out there and show a little, because he was winning the fight to me. He was winning the fight. That's my only thing. And I get it, Kenny. You love your kid. Listen, man, look. February 29th of 2004, right? I cried my heart out. Because what I've asked for came to fruition. My son was born, right? Soon as his mother gave him to me as a gift, because I begged, I asked for my son. Soon as I seen him, the tears flowed. I was overwhelmed with emotion. Even to this day, like I love my son. I don't let my son leave my sight without me telling him that I love him 100 times. I still kiss my son on the forehead every day before he leaves the door. I don't ever want him to ever feel that his daddy doesn't love him. So I totally understand where Kenny is coming from. Because you feel like you want to protect your kid from the world. Me, I hate stairs, cars, anything that can hurt my babies. You know what I'm saying? Because I love my children that much. So I totally get where Kenny is coming from. But I also believe that Sean Porter has earned the right to call his own shots. And Kenny has had a habit of butting in to me and stealing Sean's being too much sometimes. Sometimes you got to let Sean Porter be his own man. And I get it. As a trainer, you got to be there to protect your fighters and see other things. I would have liked it if he would have allowed Sean to continue and say, "Hey, if I don't see something, at least give him that warning. Like if I see you still taking clean the shot, I'm going to stop this fight." I think Sean deserved that. The career that Sean had, I think that he deserved that. That's just me personally. But I do understand Kenny Porter stopping the fight, seeing that coming from that angle as a father.
All right, Ned, the TBE.
Man, I want to come bring all the smoke on this video right here, but on this topic. But you know, just that like I always heard of mama's boys, but I never heard of daddy's boys. And you know, this is where some kids just love their daddy. And you know, shout out to Sean. You know, your relationship you have with your father is something profound. Like I've never seen it before. And if your dad throws in the towel and you accept that, then you accept that. And Spence, I feel you. I feel you 100%. Don't let and stop paying your daddy to talk for you. You know, to work for you because I felt Sean could go the extra mile, could at least finish 12. I thought if even if he got knocked down twice this round, if the fight could have ended in a draw or TC by majority decision, you know. But if this is how it is, Sean, like if what your dad says goes, then cool. I respect it. If y'all want to ride camels together, go down water slides, uh, take on
So
travel the world and hot air balloon. I respect it, yo. We all got different goals in life, yo. And if that's the goals you got, cool, yo. And I just say I respect it, man. I can't be mad at the stoppage anymore. Like I had to get it out my system. I was straight like boys in the hood, swinging in the air, like damn son, like he was this close, and like I was
Look
off.
like Trey.
Yeah, I was just throwing empty punches. Like I was like, what the? But some things can't overcome certain relationships, and I understand that now. Thank you, yo, for teaching me a life lesson, Sean Porter and Kenny Porter, yo.
Now,
Kenny taught you how to be a dad, Ned. I respect it.
nah, nah, you're joking, but you're really saying something that's really true. You know what I'm saying? The respect that Sean has for Kenny is, even if he doesn't agree, he's not going to voice it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a level of respect that he has for
Yeah,
that is,
yeah,
even when he didn't, he was mad. You could tell the frustration in his face when he looked, but he holded it in. He held it in. Excuse me,
yeah.
he held it in.
Justifiable too. Any man would be like, yo, come on, at least give me a champion's exit. You know what I mean? But his father was talking, he just stayed humble. I was
And he held it in. You could tell, you could see it in his face. He's looking at him. You know what I'm saying?
don't get pimp smacked over here.
Like I had to do a certain YouTuber.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I pick out Sean's clothes, so I pick when the fight's over. You know?
So right out the gate, I'm going to say I disagree with the stoppage. Although I understand, and just because you see something or you feel a certain way about a situation, it doesn't mean that you don't understand. And I'm going to come at it from this standpoint. He is a dad. And as a dad, your job is to protect your child always, even against what they want. Kids don't know what's best for them. And I say kids, but Sean Porter is now a man. So this is the difference between where Sean, as a man, sometimes like it comes a point where as a man, you have to let your dad know, like, I'm a man now, bro. I got this. And I feel like Sean hasn't always done that the way he should have. And probably defers too much to his dad. And I think you saw it reach a halt in at that moment where he was dropped the second time. The reason why I disagree with the stoppage is because Sean had his faculties. It wasn't a type of stoppage where he was on shaky. It wasn't the type of knockdown where he was on shaky legs. It wasn't the type of stoppage where we were like, "Oh my God, don't let him go back out there." Sean was hitting the He's hitting the canvas because he was mad. He got up. The ref said, "You want to continue?" He said, "Yeah." And Kenny just got up there and waved the flag. Now, here's my thing. If you're Kenny Porter and you've seen Sean Porter in training camp, and this is why I believe Sean Porter didn't have the best training camp. Look at what Gervonta Davis was saying, kind of alluding to the fact that like he was tagging up Sean Porter. Although to me that doesn't matter much because sparring is sparring, doesn't mean everyone was going 100%. Kenny Porter has said throughout he doesn't feel like he had the best sparring and the best preparation. Although he said that, but then you look at one clip and they're like at 92,000 altitude or something like that. And he's like, we've never gone this high before. So it's like, what is it? Is it the best or is it not? Whatever. I believe deep down inside, though, Kenny didn't believe that Sean Porter had enough in him to dig deep based on what he saw in camp because of how quickly he waved the flag. And no one's going to know Sean Porter as a fighter better than Kenny does. And so I believe he never seen Sean Porter, as helpless or as vulnerable, I should say, as he saw him in that moment. And Kenny wasn't prepared to see what was going to happen next as a dad. He wasn't prepared to see Sean get blasted or Sean get concussed or Sean get hurt badly. He wasn't prepared to see that as a dad. But here's where I think he's going to run into issues with Sean. He also didn't give Sean the chance to prove he could overcome that hurdle. It also shows he didn't believe in Sean enough to give him a chance to go out doing what he does. And that's going to bother Sean. And, you know, I'll keep my eyes on that relationship. But I'm just saying, you know, Sean took it in stride. You got to look at Sean. He's a grown man now with 2 sons, I think. So the last thing he wants to do now is give his sons something they can use against him. Like, well, you didn't respect your dad. Look at how you went at him. Just, you know, as a dad. And I think it helps him. I think it helps Sean respect his dad even more now, being a dad, because he knows he's always going to do what's in the best interest of his sons. So he understands the dynamic. Like, although I am a man, I am still his son, you know? So he seen me when I was a baby, changed my diapers. He had to feed me, all type. When you do that for a person, it changes. You can never see that person as something else. You know what I mean? That person is always the baby to you, you know? Always your baby.
You hear that, Ned?
You hear that stretch? You hear that stretch?
You're saying, you know what I mean?
So, I think there's that dynamic. But I think Sean Porter earned the right to at least go out on his shield in his last fight. And we've seen people turn it around. Everyone's gonna act like, oh, Crawford was gonna finish Porter. No, I don't, because I swore Anthony Joshua was gonna finish Andy Ruiz. I swore Luis Castillo was gonna finish Diego Corrales. I don't know that Terrence Crawford was gonna finish Sean Porter. What I do know is Sean Porter was robbed of his opportunity of actually creating one of those memorable Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Thomas the Hitman Hearns moments. What happens if TC gets reckless going in for the kill and Porter was still game and Porter catches him? Because Porter caught him right before he went down the second time. Porter caught him in exchange and hurt him. So who's to say it couldn't have happened again? I just feel like Kenny let his emotions, he let it, and that's the danger of when you have your dad in your corner. There are 2 real grave dangers you face. One is your dad won't stop it for you when you're getting beat on, right? Because your dad doesn't have the compassion, because your dad has that crazy belief in you as a son, that because some dads are extreme fans, are extreme, like, you know, have blind belief in their sons to where they won't throw in the towel, or they have unrealistic expectations, like you should have ate all 100 of those punches and came back with some more, right? You got those type of dads, right? And then you have the dads that if they see one clean punch, oh, stop it, it, no, the overprotective dads, right? And I do believe Kenny Porter is an overprotective dad. That he saw Sean Porter in a position he never saw him in before. We seen Sean get dropped. We never seen him get dropped twice back to back like that. And like, there's still some time in this round. Like you said, Kenny panicked. Kenny was getting sweaty in the palms. Kenny was like, oh God. His camp wasn't good. No.
Like through the Under Armour, you know what I mean?
He came in with snack on his shirt. But I think he panicked. But you robbed him of potentially doing a Diego Corrales, potentially having a
Gotti moment.
Yeah, you robbed him of maybe pulling off an Andy Ruiz, because Sean was game. And this is what it comes down to. In that moment, Kenny Porter was more worried about TC's skill and TC going to finish Sean than he believed in Sean's ability to survive that round and Sean's ability to come back and Sean's preparation. That's going to really bother Sean. And whether he says it or not, internally, that's going to bother him. He's a good dude. He says all the right things. I think that's going to bother him. But I'll close with this. I do believe that Sean Porter didn't have the best camp of his life. That wasn't the best Sean Porter I've seen. And it shows in the fact that he retired, and they're both and both of them seem to be at peace with it. So and again, I hate the fact that I feel like I have to clarify, because we have some delusional psycho people sometimes who watch our show and just go crazy, like, because they don't hear things for what it is. I'm not saying this to belittle Terrence Crawford and what he did to Sean, because I actually picked Sean. So when I pick Sean, that's a good thing. That means I believe he's a live dog. That means I believe he's good enough to win, and he was, which makes it a credible win for Terrence Crawford. And I can still believe it wasn't the best version of Sean. I can still believe he didn't have the best camp. I can still believe all that and think it was a credible win for TC, which I do. This isn't about TC. This is about Sean. And I think it is about time that Sean retires if he doesn't want to be a gatekeeper, because he has been in so many wars.
Let us know how you feel in the comments section. Please like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.